Hello everyone and welcome back to UCONN'S Dynasty. It is officially season number 5, and UConn comes into the season with a preseason ranking of 8th, which is the second best preseason ranking in the Big 12 behind Oklahoma State, who beat us in the championship last year. And here is the schedule for the season for the UConn Huskies. We start against Minnesota, a Big 10 opponent, a weaker Big 10 school, but a Big 10 school nonetheless. And then we play Arizona. Our biggest test in the history of the series will be against Alabama in week number 3. That game is on the road, and they are currently listed, I believe, as a 93 overall. Then we face Kansas and Kansas State back to back. We get Syracuse on the calendar for the first time in some time. Then it's UAB, West Virginia, Liberty, a bye week, Colorado, Miami, and BYU for the third year in a row. Now, there were some question marks surrounding the quarterback room coming into season number 5. Here are the current overalls, and you'll see that John Pelchak has that red shirt status. I did consider starting him this season because, of course, he has elite development. He's a 5-star gem, but I don't mind redshirting him for this season. We might bring him in a time or two just because we can see him up to 4 times this season. So if there's like some huge blowout game, we'll probably bring him in. Worth mentioning, by the way, he is a lefty. So then it came down to Cole Welliver, Neil Powell, or Calvin Plummer. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't love Neil Powell as much this season. The deep accuracy is not there. The medium accuracy is the worst of all of the quarterbacks, and the short accuracy is only slightly better than Welliver. So the obvious starter, I think, is Cole Welliver. The short accuracy concerns me a little bit. Of course, he did miss that throw to Marcus Angler in the Oklahoma State game, but otherwise he's very good. Very, very good medium accuracy, really good deep accuracy, and of course the strongest arm on the team. But I do sort of like Calvin Plummer. He doesn't quite have the arm strength, but he has the best short accuracy on the team, good medium and good deep accuracy, plus the 93 throw on the run. He's only slightly worse under pressure. He's got better break sack, but the real part where Welliver shines, I think, is play action with a 90. So to start the season, it's going to be Welliver as the QB1, Plummer as the QB2, and then Powell as the QB3, and then Pelchak will of course be redshirted, and next season he will almost certainly take over as QB1 unless Calvin Plummer, who does have impact development, improves way too much. As for halfbacks, to start the season, it's going to be pretty much a completely split backfield with a slight lean to Shaq McBath. McBath does have silver shifty, has 98 change of direction. The only concerns with him is that his carrying is not the best and his break tackle is not the best. And then the other guy will of course be Max Cadet, who is our power switch up, but is also the fastest running back currently on the team. At wide receiver, Dorian Tobin is the wide receiver 1 this season with the 98 speed. He does have platinum shifty, and I did finally change up his look a bit. I also bulked him up slightly. He was very, very skinny, and I think as an off-season thing, knowing that he is switching permanently to wide receiver, that he would have bulked up a little bit. He does officially have 2 gloves, and we've changed the look. He's also got a new helmet. Dalton Schmizniak will be the wide receiver 2. No surprises there. Best route runner on the team, and also the best hands on the team currently. Wide receiver 3 will be pretty split, but with a slight lean to Brock Montgomery. Also a good route runner and has platinum shifty. At tight end, I did consider letting Dan Sanders be the new starting tight end. I just like Marcus Angler too much. He has better speed, better acceleration, which is a huge asset for a receiving tight end. And while he's at his ratings maximum, I still like him enough to let him get the start. As for the offensive line, here's what we're working with for now. At left tackle, it will be Manny Smith as the starter. At left guard, it'll be Blake Franks replacing Ben Morosky. He is probably our most well-rounded offensive lineman in general. At center, it'll be Wayne Rourke, and I think he's also super balanced. Really, his only weakness being the run block power at a 75, but otherwise is very, very good. Right guard, I think, is our biggest weakness, and I know he's an 84 overall, Russ Ehlers, but his pass block finesse is only a 60, and his run block finesse is a 68. So we'll have to keep an eye on him. He is playing in the interior. He's more likely to go up against power guys where he is a lot better. But if we see him letting guys through often, then we're going to have to make a change. And at right tackle, it's Jack Hines. He played left tackle for us last season. He's going to switch to the right side this season, which is his natural position. At left end, it'll be D'Angelo Townsend, who is up to an 88 overall, being the primary starter. Johnny McNulty still on the team, but just quickly getting passed up by everyone in terms of overall. You got to remember, Johnny McNulty was a 1-star recruit. So the fact that he even got up to a 77 overall, probably a bit surprising. At right end, it'll be Adonis Keough, the redshirt freshman, getting his first opportunity to be a starter. At defensive tackle, it'll be Clyde Novak. I will be pronouncing it Novak, which I believe is more of a German pronunciation. The DT2 is Corin Daly. And you might see the overall difference here, seeing Calvin Whitaker is an 83, Daly's only a 77. I don't see why that difference is so large. Is it just the strength rating? I'm not sure. I know Whitaker has slightly better awareness, slightly better play recognition, but if you look at the power moves and finesse moves, it's Corin Daly all day, and then they're very close in block shedding. At left outside linebacker, it's the junior Addison Biggs, up to an 89 overall with the 96 play recognition. At middle linebacker, it's of course the crazy duo Raheem Lovelace and Joey Terrell, both 90 plus overall. Lovelace already in his senior season. At right outside linebacker, it's the redshirt freshman Dennis Cullen. If you recall, he does have elite development. He's also got elite speed for a linebacker at 93. Once Lovelace graduates next season, it's almost certainly him and Joey Terrell in the middle. Corner is one of our weaker positions. We will be starting Santos and Kiki on the outside edges, and then Hepburn will be the primary slot corner. And then you'll also see a decent chunk of Randy Radovich, the true freshman corner who does have 97 speed. At free safety, for now, it will be Robert Butts, but there are a few guys who could replace him, like Nick Giuliano, for example, or even Nate Putu. And at strong safety, of course, it's the linebacker converted to a safety. Gerard Byler will be the strong safety going forward. He's an 88 overall. The kicker for one last season will be Zach Costanzo, and then Russ Schuler will take over in his redshirt freshman season next year. And I'm not gonna lie, Roger DeLuca sucks. His kick power is only a 71, so we're gonna let Zach Costanzo be the punter as well, I think. Unless there's some reason that this makes it really, really bad, being that he's kind of playing out of position by being the punter. I'm just gonna let him do both. He's got way better kick power. The primary kick returner again this season will be Terry Overhauser, followed by the 97 speed Randy Radovich. And that is the same for the punt return. It'll be Terry Overhauser and then Randy. This is the strongest the defense has ever been, but I also think the weakest the offense has been since probably season 1 or 2. The weapons are a lot more balanced, but we don't have any incredible players at the top end. And then of course, what everyone wants to see is recruiting. So as you may know, our biggest team needs are the weapons. We need specifically halfbacks. I think we've got wide receivers. We just need them to develop a little bit more. But halfback, I think, is a big need for us. Max Cadet, of course, could improve quite a bit. But we're going after 5-star athlete, elusive back, Kareem Ursua out of Maryland. He has 89 speed with the 93 agility, 84 carrying, and a 90 juke move. Corner, also a big need for us. We're going after Christine Poljan, who has 96 speed as a slot corner. And then tight end, also a need for us. We really need to find a true tight end one. All of the tight ends we have recruited thus far are basically already at their ratings maximums. So we would love to get tight end Larry Vitale. He does have the blocking tendency type, which isn't my favorite. I prefer to have a route running type of tight end, but I will take a gem. He'll likely have star or perhaps even better development. Currently, there's only 15 players on the board. I was a lot more specific in what I was looking for this season. I went after a lot of gems, including 4-star gem right tackle James Ford. And then another power back, this is Matt Griggs, who by the way has 92 speed. There's another 5-star in right tackle Jamichael Newton, and then another right tackle, a gem, Deontay Garbutt. You'll notice it is a ton of tackles at the top of the board. And then I found a couple gem corners in Iosefa Duggan, another slot corner with 91 speed, and then John Catapano with 95 speed. There's 4-star right guard Tevin Dobbs and 4-star wide receiver Daryl Skaggs, who also has 95 speed, but is a little shorter at 5'10". 4-star right guard Lawrence Caraway is on the board, and then a few more offensive linemen in James Hogue, Dom DeChristopher, and Ty Carden. If we look at the actual team needs, there's really not a lot. I know it says we need 2 quarterbacks, and that is technically true. We probably would benefit from bringing in at least 1 guy, but mostly the needs are offensive line and halfback, and then defensively, don't need anything except for corner. I have decided to add 1 quarterback to the board, and that's Sam Halapio, a scrambler archetype quarterback from Fort Washington, Maryland, who is a 4-star. And with all that out of the way, I think we are officially ready to start season number 5. Welcome to season number 5, everybody. The UConn Huskies set to take on the Minnesota Golden Gophers on the road to start this season. For the Huskies, they're coming off of a college football playoff appearance and wanting more this season. It's playoffs or bust for the UConn Huskies. Out comes Cole Welliver, the senior quarterback set to be the starter this season. Had a great year last year after taking over for the number 10 you see on the left side of your screen, Dorian Tobin, who has converted to wide receiver. The first play of the new season will be a handoff to another senior, Shaq McBath. McBath not seeing the field a ton last season, but in line to start, at least to start this season. 2nd and 6, McBath will get another carry, tries to make a move, can't make the man miss, and sets up a 3rd and inches. From the 35, we'll go back McBath's way, and he will get the first easily, almost breaking away from that tackle. 1st and 10. On the fresh set of downs, we'll bring Dalton Schmizniak in motion, and it's the jet touch pass for him. McBath does hit his block, and Schmizniak gets about 10 yards, just shy of that 1st down. 2nd and inches, another handoff to Shaq McBath, and he will get another first. Past the 50 up to the 47. 1st down and 10, Welliver will look to throw, and he wants the deep shot to start the season. Dorian Tobin's wide open, touchdown UConn. Dorian Tobin with the elite speed, Cole Welliver with the elite deep ball, and the season is officially underway with the first touchdown on the year going to the sophomore wideout from the senior quarterback. 6-0 UConn. Dorian Tobin is in line for an incredible season. So already down by 7, Minnesota will take over on offense, and they are led out by senior quarterback Drake Lindsey, who is one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. He doesn't have the strongest arm, but his accuracies are elite. Halfback 1 is the senior Emory Godfrey, and then they have Glenn Simonson as the backup. Wide receiver 1 is Lorenzo Ramesh. The wide receiver 2 is Moses Yaboa. Then they have Barry Boyette and Hugh Fahoko. And then the tight ends are Jacob Simpson and Julian Johnson. So this is an offense for Minnesota that, no doubt about it, is better than ours. 1st and 10 from the 14 as Lindsey's back to pass, takes the check down, and that is to Emory Godfrey, but it's a loss of 4, and it's Joey Terrell getting his first TFL in the season. By the way, you may notice a number change for AJ Hepburn, as I think Adonis Keough just jumped off sides. Hepburn, previously wearing 19 this season, will be wearing number 21. So Adonis Keough trying to prove himself this season. Makes a big mistake early on, giving Minnesota a free 5 yards. They set up a wide receiver screen here, and D'Angelo Townsend lays a big hit on Moses Yaboa, and it's 3rd and 6. An opportunity to force a 3 and out, the first one on the season. As Lindsey's back to pass, running out of time. Hit as he throws. It's Raheem Lovelace in the backfield, and it's short of any targets. Incomplete, and they do go 3 and out. Terry Overhauser, a burst of speed, and on his first punt return of the season, Terry Overhauser, a house call. Hopefully we get another look at this replay. I almost never commentate these punt returns, but I should probably. With a guy like Terry Overhauser back there, the burst of speed he had to start that was incredible. I'm sure you guys saw it because I probably made the cut, but look at this move from Terry. Just finds a lane, huge burst of speed. The only guy to beat him at this point is the punter, and look at that, he's pointing him out. He knows he's gone. A 14-0 hole immediately for the Golden Gophers. 1st and 10 from the 15. Drake Lindsey gonna try to find some points on this drive. There is a flag down, I imagine. This is coming back on a holding call. You may also notice it is a different formation for the defense, as instead of the traditional 4-3, we're running a 4-2-5 this season, as Raheem Lovelace gets another TFL, and oh my goodness, I don't know what's happening. Raheem Lovelace is taking a seat on D'Angelo Townsend and drinking tea. I've never seen that celebration before. Well, I mean, if this isn't the thumbnail, I don't know what is. 2nd and 16 for the Gophers. As Lindsey's back to pass, throws quickly, finding his target. Good coverage from Lovelace, but does allow 7 yards on the reception. So another 3rd down situation. The Golden Gophers at risk of going 3 and out yet again, as there's a flag down, a free play on the offsides. They get it out quickly. It's forced incomplete, but Clyde Novak did jump early. And yeah, that is going to be offsides on the defense. So instead of 3rd and 9, it's 3rd and 4. We'll have to try again to get the stop. Lindsey, time to throw left side, finding his target. It's a 1st down for Minnesota. 1st down at the 32 for the Gophers. As Lindsey throws immediately to the tight end. Joey Terrell over pursues. Lovelace making the tackle. 1st down. Couple 1st downs in a row now as they approach midfield. Drake Lindsey running out of time, taking a shot downfield, nearly intercepted in and out of the hands of Robert Butts. Should we start calling him Bobby Butts? It kind of has a nice ring to it. 2nd and 10 from the 43 as Lindsey on the RPO takes it to his tight end. That's Jacob Simpson, and now it's 3rd and 8. So Emory Godfrey in the backfield here, but Lindsey will go to the air. And throwing over the middle, swatted down by Raheem Lovelace. 4th down Minnesota, and they will decide to punt it away. So it does appear that this defense can indeed hang with the best. I mean, this is a good Minnesota offense. I showed you those weapons. I showed you that quarterback. Defense playing well. Only weakness really being that cornerback room, but it's not terrible by any means, as Dalton Schmizniak going to get another try on the jet touch pass, but really nowhere to go. So after the punt return touchdown and then forcing another punt, 14-0 for UConn. An opportunity to make this a 3-touchdown lead on this drive, but I guess we got to take it one play at a time. On 3rd and 3 from the 41, Welliver takes the snap out of the shotgun, looks to throw, has his tight end, it's Marcus Angler. Got more involved in the second half of last season, hoping to have him involved from the start this year. And now the sophomore halfback Max Cadet will check in for the first time today. 1st and 10 from the 49, and Cadet gets the carry, bounces it back to the middle, and gets 6. Now we've got both of the running backs in the backfield. On 2nd and 4, we'll send McBath out wide to the left, and sitting down is Brock Montgomery, who makes the catch up to the 27. Welliver, a perfect 5 for 5 to start the day. So we approach the end of the first quarter. 1st and 10 from the 27. Max Cadet will get the carry, and it's a good one. A pickup of 9 for the sophomore. End of the first, and it's 14-0 UConn, and they're hungry for more. 2nd and 1 from the 18. As Cadet following his blocker, but he fumbles the football. It is recovered by UConn, though. This is a problem that Cadet had last season as well. There is a booth review here. I guess they're going to review if that is indeed a fumble. Either way, it doesn't matter. We have the football. If we take a look at the replay on our own, it does look like he was down probably with the knee. Yeah, definitely down with the knee before the ball came loose. So not a legitimate fumble, but hard not to hold it against him either way, especially after having the issues with fumbling he had last season. McBath gets the carry, jumps over a defensive lineman, but Max Cadet quickly back in the game on 2nd and 6. From the 8, Welliver will look to throw, and he wants to get this to Cadet, and it's no gain on the play. So 3rd and 6 from the 7, Welliver back to pass. He wants Dalton Schmizniak, who makes the grab and has the touchdown. The route running receiver runs a great route, gets open despite the double coverage, and has his first touchdown grab on the season. He is another guy, got involved late last year. I want him to be very involved this season, kind of taking over that Shamar Porter role. Tobin will be primarily in the slot this year, so it's up to Schmizniak to be out wide. Also worth mentioning, Welliver still perfect. 7 of 7, already has 2 touchdown passes on the day to his 2 top wide receivers, Tobin and Schmizniak. 1st and 10, Minnesota, already kind of in must-score territory. Godfrey getting a carry here, only a pickup of 2. With the defensive line we've got nowadays and the linebackers we have, I imagine that teams are going to have a rough time running the football on us. They're going to have to go through the air a lot more, I think. I think that's where we're going to be the weakest. They are into the hurry-up, And it's a fake and then a throw over the middle, and here it is. I mentioned we were weak in the passing game. I don't know how Nate Putu ended up on the field, but he got dusted. Touchdown Minnesota, scoring very quickly on what I called almost a must-score drive. It'll be 21-7 when UConn takes back over, and Nate Putu really just lost any chance of earning that starting job. 1st and 10 Huskies. Welliver perfect on the day. From the 15, it'll be a handoff. Max Cadet, though, and we got beat up the middle. I believe that was the center, Wayne Rourke, getting beat badly there. 2nd and 12, it's play action, and then a quick throw for Marcus Angler, as there was a lot of pressure there. That is incomplete. The first incompletion on the day for Welliver was a good blitz and good coverage from Minnesota. So 3rd and a long ways to go. Welliver back to pass again, and he wants Angler, nearly intercepted. Angler taking a huge hit as well. And it's a 3 and out for UConn. This is a fantastic opportunity for Minnesota to chip away at this lead. Let's see if Costanzo's any good at punting, despite not being a punter. I mean, that's not the strongest kick, but probably about what Roger DeLuca would have done. So a bad showing on the last drive, primarily from one of the backup safeties, Nate Putu. As Lindsey, time to throw, check down, forced out by George Kiki. 8 minutes left to play in the half. Lindsey on 2nd and 10. Will hand it off to Godfrey, finds a lane, a block picked up on Joey Terrell. Is anybody going to be able to chase him down? Byler does, but he's up to the 15, a 1st and 10 for Minnesota. A touchdown here, and suddenly they're very much back in this football game. Kind of looked like it was over with those first 21 from UConn. 1st down and 10 from the 15. Drake Lindsey, time to throw over the middle, finds Godfrey. Met by A.J. Hepburn wearing that new number 21. On 2nd down, they'll go to the air this time, and Lindsey, right side, caught. That is Barry Boyette. That was, again, excellent coverage from Raheem Lovelace. Now 1st down and goal, but they are out of the shotgun here. Lindsey will hand it off, a spin move, a flag down, touchdown Minnesota. But celebrating is the lineman who held, and they'll be backing this up. So they'll try 1st and goal again, this time from the 11. Drake Lindsey hands off Emory Godfrey. A running lane up the middle, and he is short of the goal line, but only just. 2nd and goal at the 1. So now, from the 1-yard line, it's Godfrey again, met by Lovelace, but finds his way into the end zone anyway. Touchdown, Minnesota. And just like that, they're back within a score. 14 unanswered for the Golden Gophers. And UConn gonna look to settle this crowd down. 1st and 10 from the 18 for the new Huskies drive. 5.5 left to play here in the first half as McBath gets the carry. Bounces this to the outside, a huge lane for Shaq McBath. Gets past the 45 up to the 47 and up over 50 yards after that carry on the day. Like I mentioned, I think McBath, more so than Cadet, has that type of explosiveness to be able to bounce things to the outside like that from time to time. McBath getting another carry, and it's not a great one this time. Tackled forward, makes it a pickup of 4. 2nd and 6. Welliver to throw, and he wants Marcus Angler, who just falls down at the 1st down marker. From the 41, it's 1st and 10. McBath to get another carry, and it's a decent one here. On 2nd and 4, it's an empty set for Welliver. And gonna step up and maybe scramble here. A rare scramble from Cole Welliver, but he gets the 1st. Definitely the least athletic quarterback on the team. 1st and 10 from the 28 as Welliver's back to pass again. And he's going left side. He wants Angler, but it's intercepted. The safety steps in front of it, and it's the 1st pick on the year for Cole Welliver. 1st and 10 Minnesota, as the coverage was just a little bit too good. I'll take a look at the replay. I'm sure I missed somebody in my reads. I was really super tunnel visioned on Marcus Angler. That route gets open so frequently, but obviously the guy here, I think everyone sees it, is Dalton Schmizniak on the drag route underneath, just wide open with a ton of room to run. I didn't go through my reads at all. Like I said, I just tunnel visioned Marcus Angler. That's 100% my fault. 2:27 for Minnesota could tie the game up here, and they do start with the ball in the second half. That is complete to Moses Yaboa, and now it is the 2-minute warning And Lindsay will look to throw. Has time, goes right side, but just throws it away. So a big third down here. If the defense could get a stop, it'll give the UConn offense another opportunity to prove themselves before the half. D'Angelo Townsend gonna do just that, getting his first sack on the season. The linebacker turned edge rusher, finding a loss of 9 on the quarterback, Drake Lindsay, and they'll have to punt it away. From the 48, 1st and 10, still plenty of time to find some points for the UConn Huskies before the half. Shaq McBath following his blocker gets a first easily up to the 33. 1st and 10, empty set for Welliver. As he is gonna go down, it's a sack. 2nd and 18 coming up. From the 41, 2nd down and forever. He wants Marcus Angler. It's a touch overthrown, but Angler makes the athletic play, and it's another first for UConn. Marcus Angler very involved so far today, which is exactly what we wanted. Welliver back to pass again, and down he goes again. Another sack. We'll have to call a timeout. And here's the man I said to keep an eye on. This is right guard Russ Ehlers, just getting swim moved immediately. 2nd and 20. Welliver back to pass. Ehlers lets his man through again, but we might have Tobin back corner end zone. Touchdown UConn. Welliver standing tall in the face of pressure, finding Dorian Tobin, and it's 6 more points for the UConn Huskies with less than 30 seconds left in the half. This connection, the deep ball from Welliver, the deep route running from Dorian Tobin, it is absolutely elite. And just to take a look at Ehlers again, I'm already considering benching him. It's just another swim move. He just can't block if it's a finesse rusher. If it's a power guy, I'm very confident he can keep up. But if it's a speed guy, he's just going to get beat almost every time. And Welliver's under pressure again. 28 seconds and 3 timeouts for Minnesota, and they'll start from their own 25. That's still plenty of time to find their way down the field, maybe get 3, potentially get even more. Down goes Drake Lindsay, though. It's Adonis Keough, the freshman, recording his first sack as a UConn Husky. 2nd and 13 coming up for Minnesota. They might let the clock roll after that. And that is indeed what they do. So we'll head to halftime. UConn up 28-14, but it was a little shaky there at times, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. Welliver throwing his first pick on the season already. I believe only had 4 of those last year. Tobin, of course, has been incredible. Only 2 grabs, but went for 2 touchdowns and 75 yards. Let's see if we can keep this going in the second half. As I mentioned, Minnesota will start with football here in the second half. 1st and 10 from the 25 for the Golden Gophers. Lindsay, a blitz on its way. Robert Butts makes a really good tackle in the backfield. And now talking some smack to Emory Godfrey. 2nd and 14 after the loss as Lindsay will throw again. Quick check down to the tight end. Huge hit from Raheem Lovelace, and it's 3rd and 11. From the 24, will they go 3 and out to start the new drive? This one in the air, a huge hit from D'Angelo Townsend, and they will go 3 and out to start the second half. They'll punt it away. 28-14 for UConn as they take back over on offense. Cadet on the carry, finding a lane, and still on his feet, well, on his back really, but laying on top of somebody else. 2nd and 3 after that. McBath checks in, cuts it up the middle, and really gets the first. Interesting. Looked like he was well short, but I'll take it. By the way, new man in at right guard. Russ Ehlers been benched. Dexter Ort is in instead. The only issue with Ort is that he is not a great power blocker. So it's kind of the opposite problem as Dorian Tobin down the field beat his man. It's a step underthrown, though, there from Welliver. It's honestly a good matchup with Tobin going up against a star corner. 2nd and 10 from the 46 as Cadet gets the carry up the gut and only gets a couple yards, which does make it a 3rd down and 8. So we're back to pass. Welliver wants Dalton Schmizniak. He can't make the grab in and out of his hands as he takes a hit, and we will punt it away. Still 8 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter. Only the 2-score lead still for UConn, but it's felt in their control for quite some time. Over the middle, intercepted. It's Joey Terrell. He led the team in interceptions last season, and he's off to a hot start this one. The junior linebacker who just won Best Linebacker in the whole country a year ago gets his first INT on the year. I don't know what Drake Lindsay saw there, but clearly he didn't see Joey Terrell. It's hard not to have a good feeling about this UConn Huskies defense playing the way that they are. Max Cadet has the football and has 4. McBath back in the game, and on 2nd and 6 will go his way. And the blocking was decent, but really not much running room there for McBath. 3rd and 3, Welliver back to pass, blitz on its way. He wants the tight end. Dan Sanders gets it to him and has the first up to the 12. On 2nd and 10, it's play action, and we just try to take the check down to Cadet. Honestly, lucky he dropped that, because it would have been a loss, and now it's 3rd and 10. Big 3rd down here. Welliver back to pass. He goes underneath for Montgomery. He does hold on, but not nearly enough for the first, and we'll bring out Costanzo for a field goal try. Kick from Costanzo, just barely inside that left upright. I didn't want to push it too far, but I almost didn't push it enough. Kick is good for Costanzo, and UConn extends their lead. 5 minutes left here in the 3rd. 1st and 10 Minnesota in a 31-14 hole. As Drake Lindsay, coming off of the interception on the last drive, looks to throw, and he's under some pressure from Clyde Novak. The transfer gets a sack. 2nd and 21 coming up. This defense is relentless. From the 14, Lindsay to throw again, and this one is completed. A.J. Hepburn circling around the receiver. Oh man, that should be a loss, but instead A.J. Hepburn, huge mistake, and it's a huge pickup for Minnesota. 1st and 10, up to the UConn 47. I can't even believe that. Drake Lindsay sends a man over to the left, and then it's a throw underneath for the backup tight end, and a pickup of 9. That was Julian Johnson on the catch. 2nd down and 1 from the 38. Godfrey gonna go out to the left, and it's gonna be a throw. This time Hepburn makes up for the mistake, swats this one down. On 3rd and 1, would likely see them going to the ground here. No, it's an RPO, and it's completed. Bad angle taken from Robert Butts, and it's a 1st and 10 up to the 16. I gotta say, if we're starting a college football 26 wish list, we gotta get rid of this stuff, where I press X to do a secure tackle, and then he just runs past the player as they accelerate. This happens so frequently on both sides. 2nd and 10, still from the 16. Lindsay changing up the play, and it's another RPO. This one is completed, and that's going to be a touchdown for Moses Yaboa, the wide receiver, too. And you know what? We haven't seen any of Lorenzo Ramesh, their very talented wide receiver 1 today. But Yaboa getting 6 here and cutting the lead down to 10 pending the PAT. This game is not over by any stretch of the imagination. Minnesota is definitely hanging around. Still down by 2 scores, though. McBath going to get another carry here, and another pretty good one, a pickup of 8. He did have that one roughly 30-yard gain that was most of his yardage so far today. Looks like there may be a blitz coming from Minnesota. No, it is a fake blitz, but they do leave Marcus Angler open, and he goes down after the first. 4 catches on the day for Marcus Angler. 1st and 10 at the 33 for UConn. Welliver will hand off to McBath. Lots of running room, makes a man miss. A burst of speed down the field is Shaq McBath. Gonna find his first touchdown on the season, rather. He does. Touchdown, UConn. Shaq McBath with the explosiveness. Looking like Darrell Robinson out there with the explosiveness in the running game. McBath finding his first touchdown on the season and extending the UConn lead. Well, if we're having a competition to see who the primary back should be, so far Shaq McBath is showing out as Lindsay actually spins out Raheem Lovelace. That's very impressive. Still gains no yards, though. 2nd and 10, we approach the end of the 3rd quarter, and they're down by 17. Godfrey gets the carry. Joey Terrell there along with Byler. Welcome to the 4th quarter, the first one of season number 5. 3rd and 6 from the 29. It's a setup wide receiver screen, or running back screen rather, but it's knocked away by Clyde Novak. And it's a 4th and 6, but it looks like they're going to go for it. 4th down and 6 for Minnesota. This is a significant 4th down here over the middle. That's caught. It's actually well played, honestly. I think that was A.J. Hepburn diving across, but just couldn't get a hand on it. The coverage was good. Can't fault him too much for that, but catch still allowed to Barry Boyette. 1st and 10 to the 49, as it looked like they didn't have enough blockers there for a moment. Deep ball on its way, end zone, touchdown Minnesota. Robert Butts not deep enough in his zone, and there's Lorenzo Ramesh. Touchdown Minnesota. We did run a cover 2 here, trying to avoid a play like this, but Robert Butts just not deep enough in the zone, gets beat over the top, and it's 6 for the Golden Gophers. A holding penalty puts us at our own 9 after the kickoff return. 1st down and 10, as now we try to chew the clock, and McBath gonna get another good carry, and he's up over 150 yards on the day. Under 10 minutes left to play. UConn still up by 10. And McBath to get another carry. Look at that explosiveness from Shaq McBath. Have a day, young man. 15 rushes for 172. Well, I feel like Shaq McBath has put my concerns to rest about who the lead back is going to be post Darrell Robinson. In the 35, it's 2nd and 8, and McBath will get another carry up the middle. Sets up a 3rd and 6. From the 38, pretty critical 3rd down here as we try to get this to Marcus Angler. That is a terrible throw from Cole Welliver. Misses badly, and it's a 4th and 6. We'll have to punt it here. Minnesota with a chance to make this a 1-possession lead. Just need to stop getting beat deep. 1st and 10, Lindsey. Back to pass under pressure from Corin Daly. Hit as he throws. It's intercepted by George Kiki. And he's got a huge return lane here. He's past the 20, and that might be the dagger against Minnesota. Drake Lindsey hit by Corin Daly as he attempts to throw, so it's underthrown, and George Kiki is the beneficiary, getting his first interception on the season as a junior and maybe putting this game to bed. So 1st and 10, UConn just going to look to burn a bunch of clock while we're on this side of the field. McBath cuts this back and gets 6. You can't tell him just feeding the hot hand at this point. On 2nd and 4 from the 9. McBath still in the backfield, finds a lane, and gets the first up to the 4. Would also love to reward him by getting him over 200 yards for the day. He's very close to it, only 11 yards shy. McBath, end zone touchdown, the 2nd one on the day for the senior halfback, Shaq McBath. What a season debut it has been for McBath, and I think we've found our lead back. A couple interceptions from Drake Lindsey has really been the difference here today. Could be an entirely different game without those. 2nd one, not really his fault. Hit as he throws, not a whole lot he can do. Good coverage from Raheem Lovelace. 45-28 currently the score. Defense was so good in the first half, has really kind of fallen apart a bit here in the second. As Lindsey to throw, takes it left side to Emory Godfrey, who does get the first. They are not in the hurry-up currently, which is a little surprising. 1st and 10 from the 26 for Drake Lindsey. As he checks it down over the middle. Probably need to go a little bit deeper down the field if you're Minnesota. On 2nd and 6, we are giving some cushion right now. As they throw right side, that one is incomplete. Forced out by Jamie Santos. So 3rd down and 6 for Minnesota. Lindsey throws over the middle, not broken up, even though it was good coverage from A.J. Hepburn. Good hands from Julian Johnson. Under 4 minutes left to play in the game for Minnesota. This game feels all but over. But Drake Lindsey going to give it his best shot under pressure from Corin Daly again. Stepping out of bounds, the tight end Jacob Simpson. On 2nd and 7, Lindsey, of course, back to pass again. Has a man over the middle. Bad coverage this time from Raheem Lovelace. And it's the tight end Simpson again. 3.5 left to play. A solid drive here from Minnesota as Corin Daly's in the backfield again. He's getting pressure time and time again. Godfrey steps out of bounds. And that does stop the clock at 3 minutes and 18 seconds left to play. 2nd down and 6 from the 26. And it's a running back screen. And it looks like the blockers are set up nicely. Big hit laid by Joey Terrell. That is the first time we've seen one of the backup running backs today. It's been all Emory Godfrey. And there he is again, back in the backfield. 1st and 10 from the 16, 3:14 left to play as they got out of bounds on the last play. Under some pressure again is Lindsey, but finding his wide out, that's Barry Boyette, and it's a 1st and goal at the 6. So can they find the end zone here and make it a little bit more interesting at the end of the game? As this one thrown left side, but it's well behind Godfrey. 2nd and goal from the 6. Throw over the middle. That is caught, but doesn't go very far. So now a 3rd down and goal from the 3. Drake Lindsay back to pass. Has all kinds of time. Throws left side. Touchdown. It's Emery Godfrey, the halfback. 6 more points for Minnesota. Makes the score look a bit more respectable. They're back within 10. It's not impossible that they make the comeback here, but I would call it unlikely. UConn recovers the onside kick and has a chance to chew more clock. Shaq McBath only 7 yards away from 200 on the season debut. Can he get it here? No, he only gets 3. That brings us to the 2-minute timeout, 2nd and 7. Just looking to chew the clock, burn those timeouts. There's a flag down here. It's another holding, and it's on Marcus Angler again. So instead of a 3rd and 4, it's a 2nd and 17. And it does look like Minnesota going to be sending a huge blitz to no one's surprise as they burn a timeout after the McBath carry. McBath needs 2 more yards for 200 on the day. 3rd and 15. Gonna try to get rid of one more of these Minnesota timeouts. McBath, good carry, tries to juke it back to the outside, and they do use that timeout. We may have gotten in Costanzo field goal range, however. Costanzo on for a 52-yarder. Kick on its way. Does it have the leg? It does. It's good for Zach Costanzo. A 52-yarder, that might be his new career long. That field goal means that they need 2 touchdowns now to take the lead. 1st and 10 from the 16. As this one, a 3rd interception. This time it's A.J. Hepburn, and he's tackled down at the 15. Game over. Drake Lindsay throws his 3rd pick on the day, this time to A.J. Hepburn, who waves goodbye to the audience, and in his junior season gets his 1st pick on the year. That was basically right to him. And that was the dagger. UConn winning their 1st game on the season over, I think, a quietly very good Minnesota team. That offense has a lot of potential. Lindsay, of course, throwing 3 interceptions, I think, ends up being the big difference there. Shaq McBath, what a day. 215 yards, 2 touchdowns on 24 attempts. I really liked how the defense looked in the first half, and then, once they started having to throw the ball a bit more, it actually started to hurt us. So we made them one-dimensional. We made them throw the ball, and I think that's where we started to have issues. Our corners are not the best. We do have Robert Butts, who is maybe not the best safety, getting beat deep. But hey, I say that we did intercept Drake Lindsay, one of the best quarterbacks in the country, 3 times. So can't complain too much. It seems like our defensive line might force a good chunk of interceptions just by getting hits, getting pressures, and forcing the quarterback to be uncomfortable. So here are the player stats. For UConn, Welliver, 15 of 22, started the day 7 of 7, threw for 3 touchdowns and a pick, 68% completion percentage. 185 is a low number of yards for Welliver. It was a lot about the ground game today because McBath got hot. And speaking of Shaq McBath, 24 for 215 and 2 touchdowns, broke 3 tackles, nearly 9 yards per carry. Definitely, I think, solidified that he should be the RB1 over Max Cadet. I still like Max Cadet, but he just does not have that ability to make fast cuts. And you know what? McBath actually has that ability technically better than Darrell Robinson did. Darrell Robinson only had bronze shifty. Shaq McBath has silver, and I think you can tell, man, his cuts are quick. In the receiving game, it was Marcus Angler, 4 for 42, but no touchdowns. Dalton Schmizniak had 3 grabs for 19 and a touchdown. Seems like he'll be a great red zone threat. Dorian Tobin only had 2 catches, but they did go for 75 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Brock Montgomery, 2 for 20. So Russ Ehlers did have 5 pancakes, but did allow a sack. I think he will be benched going forward. Defensively, Raheem Lovelace, 7 solo tackles, leads the team. He also had 10 total tackles, which leads the team. And then there were a bunch of guys with TFLs. Clyde Novak, George Kiki, Adonis Keogh, Robert Butts, Raheem Lovelace, D'Angelo Townsend, and Joey Terrell. And then for sacks, Novak, Keogh, and Townsend, each with 1. And of course, Kiki, Hepburn, and Terrell, each with a pick. And don't let me forget Terry Overhauser's punt return touchdown. So with the first game of the season out of the way, let's go ahead and advance the week, see how recruiting's going, and view our next matchup. We are now up to an A+ for championship contender, but it does show that Marcus Angler is a transfer risk due to playing time. I think it's because on paper he is the 3rd string tight end. I'm starting him because I love Marcus Angler, and he's the fastest tight end that we have. So I imagine that this transfer risk will go down the more that he starts. UConn, up to number 7 in the country, will face off against Arizona at home next week. Here's the current media top 25 after 1 week. Well, really 2 weeks, I guess, if you count week 0. Tennessee up to first, jumping up there from 6th after beating now 11th ranked USC. USC, I believe, was number 2 in the country. Yeah, and actually I can see that down here as they lost to Georgia in the championship last season. For some reason, Georgia, despite a dominant win over Cal, drops to 2nd. I think what makes more sense is Tennessee to jump to 2nd after beating USC, but it's super early. Take these with a grain of salt. And Oklahoma State, despite not playing in week 0 or week 1, jump up to 6th, and we are right behind them in 7th after the victory over Minnesota. K-State not far behind at 9th, and then you've got Baylor and Utah. I did mention that those are kind of the big dogs of the Big 12. I would love to have played Oklahoma State, Utah, Baylor this season. Unfortunately, it just wasn't in the cards. And then a couple newcomers to the rankings, Boise State and Texas Tech. We did get locked out of one of the right tackles we were going after, but that's okay. We were probably going after far too many anyway. And that left us with 65 points. I've put 30 on the wide receiver, Darryl Skaggs. We are currently in a recruiting battle against Syracuse, and I've put 35 for the quarterback, Sam Halapio. But anyway, that's going to do it for the first episode of season number 5. Thank you guys so much for watching and for your continuous support. If you haven't already, go ahead and join the community Discord. There is a link to it down in the description below. We're in there chatting about UConn pretty often, so if you want somewhere to hang out, that might be the place. And also consider becoming a channel member. You can join for as low as $1 a month, and it does help me out a ton. But if you find yourself coming back on the regular and you aren't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that sub button for me. It does help me out a lot, and I will see you guys in the next episode where we face off against the Arizona Wildcats.